what's going on, crew? I'm going to demonstrate for you the Turkish Get Up. So, I've seen variants on how to do the Turkish Get Up. As long as you adhere to a few certain principles, there's probably some room for variation, but I'm sure that we've all seen some pretty wonky versions of Turkish Get Ups that don't really support progression to the heaviest possible weights. So, when we're talking about doing the Turkish Get Up, and we're talking about how do we move from the floor to standing under a load in the most efficient way possible, certain biomechanical principles and positional principles need to be adhered to in order to progress to the heaviest weights possible for that individual. And when you're starting out practicing the Turkish Get Up, regardless of what weight you're using, you should always treat it as though it is a very heavy weight. So whenever you start out, even if you don't have weight in your hands, you should be acting like you have 100 pounds or 50 pounds or whatever in your hands, so that you treat the movement with the respect that it requires in order to make good progress. Okay, so let's go through this point by point. If you are attempting to ladder up and wait and see how heavy you can go, I do very much recommend using some wrist protection. So, bell is on the floor. Set this up over here. Okay, so bell is on the floor. You're gonna turn to the bell. Fetal position. Insert the hand as deep as possible. Pull that into the chest, and then roll onto your back. Okay? The kettlebell should sit into that little nook where the chest, shoulder, and bicep meet. If it's sitting outside of that, that's not a good starting position. One leg in, one leg out. The leg that's in is on the side of the bell, and it serves a very specific function. Let's press this guy out. Maintain your lockout at all times, super important, okay? And keep your eyes on the bell. Now, coming back to this knee, or this leg rather, this leg is gonna serve as our propulsion to roll onto the elbow. So I'm gonna push through this foot, and that's gonna help me turn the hips to give me that inertia to roll onto my elbow. Okay? And now I'm onto my elbow. Now we push, but you should also be thinking about pulling your elbow underneath your body as you do that. Okay, so we're here. Make sure that that foot stays flat. We're gonna prop up onto the hand. And I'm really engaging through my scapula to make sure all of that's staying stable. So I'm actively pushing through the bell, but then I'm also actively retracting through the shoulder blades. I'm gonna pop up into my bridge. I need to make sure I'm stable before I transition here. I'm gonna bring my leg through, and I'm gonna plant my knee directly underneath my body. I'm not gonna overshoot it. Then from here, it's a basic hip shift, or like a kneeling windmill, some people call it, into your half kneeling position. Readjust your feet so that you can come into standing, okay? So from here, you just make your way back down. Step back, shift the hips, plant the hand, bring that leg through, set the bum down, make sure that that bent knee leg, that foot stays flat. I prefer the slide method, so I'm gonna slide to my side, and then I'm gonna roll to the back. And then we'll bring that guy back down into the body, and then roll it to the floor. So those are all the steps of the Turkish Get Up. Now, if you can do it on one side, you should be able to do it on the other side. So, fetal position, insert deep, roll to the back. We're gonna get that guy into a lockout. Push through the foot, roll to the elbow. Prop up to the hand. High bridge. Plant the knee. Hip shift. Kneeling to standing. Step back. Hip shift. Plant the hand. Sit the bum down. Slide to the side. Roll to the back. Bring it safely back into the chest. Roll it to the floor. And that's your Turkish Get Up. Make sure that you take it step by step and always follow the guideline of correct before you continue. So what that means is if you lose balance or you get a little wobbly as you go, you need to correct that and you need to stabilize before you take the next step. Establish your position before you transition to the next position. If you do not stabilize, you will likely lose balance, lose control of the bell, and God forbid something terrible happen, okay? Correct before you continue. A nice little analogy that I've heard before is imagine someone's taking your photograph and you're posing at each step along the way. Establish that control and then take the next step. If you do that, you will be successful. Good luck, guys.